Unfortunately, PFF's Black Friday sale is no longer going on, but we have a brand new discount to give you guys right now. That is a 30% off discount this holiday season with the promo code HOLIDAY30 to get 30% off a PFF Plus subscription. You get access to our player prop tool that can help you make back whatever you pay for PFF Plus and then some. It can also help you win a fantasy football championship this year. You get the same grades and analytics that every single NFL team uses and every single college football team uses as well. And you get access to the best mock draft simulator on the planet for the 2026 NFL Draft. Again, Holiday 30 to get 30% off a PFF Plus subscription right now. Troy at James Madison in the Sun Belt Championship. Again, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN on Friday. The storyline to know in this game, James Madison is fighting for a potential college football playoff spot, even though it's likely that the group of five spot in the playoff will go to the winner of the American title game that we'll get to later on between Tulane and North Texas. James Madison is still very much alive for a playoff spot right now. Right now, the Dukes are 11-1 on the year. Their only loss came to an 8-4 Louisville team back in week 2. And the Dukes need Duke to beat Virginia in the ACC championship game because it is incredibly unlikely that an 8-5 Duke team would get in over a 12-1 James Madison team. And again, reminder, there needs to be 5 conference champions in the playoff. It doesn't have to be all 4 Power 4 conferences. It could be 3 Power 4 conferences and 2 Group of 5 conferences. If Duke wins the ACC title, it's very likely that James Madison will also make the playoff along with Tulane or North Texas, and we get 2 Group of 5 teams in the playoff as well. So James Madison's, of course, got to win this game first, but they got to win this game and then root like all hell for Duke to beat Virginia in the ACC title game. James Madison is searching for their first Sun Belt title since joining the conference in 2022. Troy, who has an 8-4 record on the year, they're looking to win their 9th Sun Belt title and 3rd in the last 4 seasons, and is also the first time that James Madison and Troy are playing each other this year.
I'll be very curious to see also, you mentioned about the American champion in that game we're going to cover in a little bit, having a big advantage, and we're recording this preview before the newest CFP rankings come out, but I'm curious to see who the new teams are that are in. Each team from 19 to 23 in last week's rankings, they all lost. 5 teams right there that all lost, 5 teams that at least have the potential to drop out. How close are North Texas and James Madison both to being ranked? Where will they be in relation to Tulane? Is a Tulane or North Texas ranked win at the end of it all? Certainly Tulane being already ranked at number 24 has an advantage there, but how far do they move up in those rankings in that range right there? And do James Madison and or North Texas get ranked? I think that's a huge storyline tonight going into these rankings that we're going to see, and then moving into the weekend as these games happen, both on Friday. So we'll know by the end of Friday maybe where things stand between all 3 of these teams.
Definitely. All right, Dalton, you have the Troy offense in this game against what's been one of the best defenses in college football in James Madison. What should we know in that matchup?
So Goose Crowder came back, Troy's starting quarterback for the last couple of games, and they've won 2 big games recently, especially the game that got him into this spot, again with a big win at Southern Miss that you correctly called out with your last upset pick of the year. Nice job. But they've got an absolute monster to deal with this James Madison secondary. James Madison is tied for the top coverage grade in the country as a team with Texas Tech, Max. 9th in yards per attempt allowed, 12th in explosive pass rate allowed, tied with Notre Dame for the most forced incompletions in the country, and they lock it up man-to-man with these corners, the 12th highest man-to-man rate in college football this season. When you look at this secondary and the way they've been able to just light teams up, Justin Eaglin and Elijah Culp on the outside, DJ Barksdale in the slot, also a really good pair of safeties behind him. I think that's really where it starts when you talk about this James Madison team preventing explosive plays. You cannot throw the football on this team. They will lock you down man-to-man. They're ball hawks. They read the football well in zone coverage. There has not been a team this year that has dominated them through the air, and I think Goose Crowder in this Troy passing game is really going to have a hard time doing it again this week. Their passing game's been inconsistent this year. They're going to want to slow the game down and run the football. I would not want to throw into the teeth of this secondary that, again, is tied for the national lead with Texas Tech in coverage grade.
Absolutely, yeah. Troy also needs to control the line of scrimmage in this game and wrap up James Madison's ball carriers, because the best part of James Madison's offense is its run game. And James Madison, they run the ball at the 9th highest rate in the country. See right there, over 59% this year. Right now, they're 8th in rushing grade, 17th in run blocking grade, and they're 4th in the country with 2.7 yards before contact per attempt. That offensive line has created holes in the run game, and also James Madison has a very diverse backfield that confuses defenses with who has the ball on any given play. Wayne Knight, the running back, is 2nd in the Sun Belt this year with 1,045 rushing yards. Alonzo Barnett III, the quarterback, is tied for 9th among all quarterbacks in the country with 9 rushing touchdowns on the season. And also their backup running back, Jordan Fuller, has also been very effective in a more limited role. He has an 86.9 PFF grade on the year. The Dukes really like to get downhill, north and south in the run schemes. Not a lot of east and west in their run schemes, because right now they only run outside zone on about 12% of their plays this year. It's only 89th in the country. It's a very gap-heavy scheme and a very inside zone-heavy scheme that James Madison runs. And Troy has had a relatively average run defense this year. Right now, 70th in the country with an 83.3 run defense grade. And a big issue for Troy has been bringing down ball carriers, because right now, 59.6 tackling grade is 112th in college football. And on inside zone or gap scheme runs, Troy is only 109th in the FBS with 5.3 yards per attempt allowed. The Trojans have to bring their hard hats and wrap up ball carriers and run defense this week without stacking the box either, because Alonzo Barnett and James Madison's receivers are still very, very talented. So you can't just stack the box on this James Madison team. You've got to play a lot better in run defense against a team that's going to get right downhill on you.
They're talented. They get downhill north and south in the run game. They get downhill north and south in the passing game too. When they decide to take those deep play action shots, they're generally right down the middle of the field when your linebackers step up, when your safeties step up. So it's a dangerous two-dimensional offense, but you're right. It starts with Knight and Barnett on the ground, picking up big plays on early downs and then taking those shots over the top with Barnett over the middle of the field.
So will James Madison win the Sun Belt Championship, Dalton, their first Sun Belt title, and create a interesting conversation for the playoff committee? Or will Troy pull off what is probably the biggest upset we could see this weekend?
I think James Madison gets it done at home. It's especially for me, this defense, that they're just lights out. I mean, they've been lights out for most of this season. Last week when, maybe going to Coastal Carolina could have been a trap game. They're still in the Sun Belt title game, but racing for the playoffs. And I think if you're Troy, you've got to find a way to run the football in this game. I'm not sure that if you get into obvious passing situations that there's going to be a route for Goose Crowder to have a lot of success here. I like the JMU secondary. I like the run game, like you mentioned. And honestly, they got a really good football team. If there's a reason they're left out of the playoff with a win, it's going to be the strength of schedule. And it's going to be the fact that this is just the second team they've beaten all year with a winning record. But 35-14 Dukes, I think they take care of business.
I also have it as a 21-point difference. I have it 38-17, James Madison over Troy. I think Troy is going to struggle to score on what's been one of the best defenses that we've seen in college football this year, and James Madison rides its run game to an easy Sun Belt title. Again, like Dalton said, Troy has to run the ball and stop the run in this game in order to have a chance at winning it. But the Dukes win this game, and again, hope that Duke can win the ACC championship over Virginia on Saturday night, because that would most likely send James Madison to the playoff no matter what happens in the American Conference. So for anyone wondering, even though Bob Chesney accepted the job at UCLA, he is coaching in this game and will coach in the playoff if James Madison gets it too. So yes, he did accept the job, but he is coaching in this game. So both have James Madison winning.